Captain, a vessel approaching.
On screen.
We're being hailed.
Every weekend over at gearwebsites.com, our online store, we have free Patch Friday. And that means that every order placed on our store on Fridays is going to include at least one free patch. So that's every order with no coupons, no minimum order, no codes needed. You place the order on Friday, and when it arrives to you, it's going to have at least one free patch. Your support means a lot to us, and financial support is critical. So thanks again to the people who keep us online through purchases at gearwebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
It's a shit. All right, now some. Wait, now some. Oh, good. Now it works. All you had to do is beat the crap out of it. Literally. Good. Now it works. All you had to do is beat the crap out of it. Literally. All right, so now we can get on with the show. My microphone's all falling apart in front of me, though. So it's a good time to fix the microphone, I guess. Now I can show you what it looks like inside of this thing. All right, so we're going to take a look at the, what do they call this? The history over there. Looking at some shorts earlier. Slim was showing off some kind of speed loader, and Foss doing something with a flashlight, and Patriot in the Dark was showing off Reagan's clothes from somewhere. All right, so going to be taking a look at the stuff that came up this week for the 2A, and do this as a live show. So anybody who wants to participate, feel free to be part of the show. And we'll dig in. So like I say, we're using the YouTube history as sort of bullet points here. I was just watching Armed Attorney talking about a well, I think that one is about actual that one was from today. That one was actual bank stuff that was happening, I guess, in Texas. So kind of interesting, not that interesting. Chris in the 740 is posting about a Harbor Freight version of a Streamlight, weapons light for under $50. I didn't even know they had such a thing, but I guess it makes sense. So then, now that lights are under $50, are all of a sudden lights going to be cool for everybody? You know, stuff usually is no good unless it's cheap enough to buy, and then it's super cool, necessary. So then we got the 1911 from Bullets for Bucks, so showing that off. Yep, I like Chris's channel. Let's see, then we got Gizzard's new project is listening to music all the time, so I guess he was listening to some music over there. I missed this one live. I listened to this one earlier today. This is all stuff from today. Walk Talk America had on some guys from Pennsylvania who have a organization or group that was founded when a friend of theirs committed suicide. I think we're allowed to say that still on the internet. And then they created this organization, and now they raise funds during events throughout the year and then use those funds to donate to organizations devoted to mental health awareness and suicide prevention. So I guess Walk Talk America has been a beneficiary of that, and back and forth, I guess. So an interesting conversation. I went on with Yankee yesterday and Left to Center. And let's see, then She Fires posted. I didn't realize that She Fires, I knew she had switched over to a new industry. I didn't realize the situation until listening to this one. Let's see, Jim over on Side Hustle Shuffle posted a 17-second video. I thought it was a mistake or something, but it's really that fast. Let's see if I can open it. I don't think he'll get mad if I copyright him. Hopefully he can have the money if he wants, because this show won't make no money.
Another big complaint I get is I'm getting no views. So you posted 3 videos and nobody watched. That's perfectly normal. Your job is to just keep posting more videos. Most creators give up before it works. And don't stop at 3. The algorithm favors stubborn.
That's a lot. That's a lot of info in 17 seconds. So a lot of people take for granted what gets put on YouTube. Because a lot of exploiters are out there using YouTube as just a way to market and sell you shit. So the stuff that's real that happens on YouTube gets taken for granted. And, well, I'm live right now, so I'll talk to you in a bit. It's nice when people can keep track of your when you go live in real life. So, not too many people out there are paying attention to the folks who are deciding to turn on a camera. For a while there, we had gun channels, and we had a pretty good group of people there who were content creators supporting each other. And you'll get communities of people who support each other, and that's nice, but it's not the same as having have it be a facet of our community. And I think it could be. It can be again, or it has been in the past, and it can be if you value that. So listening to people who are talking about behind the scenes and stuff is part of it. If you're interested in being part of the whole thing, like grab a camera and be part of it. It's pretty simple, and there's no barrier to entry, really. So then we get Forge of Freedom posting more of their stuff from NRA show. They posted all their NRA videos, like I think 3 videos. They were fairly long. So these are chopped up pieces. So I've listened to some of this before, but hearing it again a couple of weeks or a month later now, It's not like I memorize everything I hear, so it is interesting to listen to it again. And this Hinsdale College, I've heard of it before because of Prager or somebody would always talk about it. So I just assumed it was a college. But after watching a bunch of the Olympic shootings, the shotgun shooting stuff, it turns out that Hinsdale College does quite a bit for the shooting sports. So that's pretty cool. Krabby Turtle is joining us. Welcome. So this one is the armed attorneys from Texas talking about the situation with the FRT triggers and everything related to that. So it's interesting because listening to this video, which I barely listened to today, it came out a little while ago, earlier this week, and then somebody else talked about it from a different angle. So it's interesting how people who are interested in giving insight on in this case, news, are, I want to say I don't think anybody intentionally is doing it, intentionally trying to do it differently necessarily. It's just they're trying to do it from their perception or their perspective. And we get different coverage of the same situation. And that's what it's all about, right? Getting that nuance so that we don't just get one version of the situation of the day. So hopefully that's what I'm adding here too. And what I'm attempting to do is show some of the variety of positions out there on some of this stuff. And the lack of attention to the bullshit hopefully is also adding to the pile for people that are interested. All right, so we got a bunch of people watching. Again, feel free to be part of the show. Otherwise, it's lame. So otherwise, I'm just sitting here reciting a bunch of shit or lecturing. That's boring. So then we get stuff that happened yesterday. I'm not a big fan of this doing it in order of the days I watched it because that really has nothing to do with when it was produced or how important it is. But I don't have time anymore it takes long enough. It takes like more than an hour to set up the show as it is this way. It takes way more than that to set it up with, putting the things in order of their importance. So I don't know how much interest I have in doing that, but again, participation in the whole project would be a factor, and if it ever goes back to a different style. But going back to yesterday's videos, I keep watching this guy in an SSF. He is good at explaining the different things that you do with a scope, with a I can't think of the right word, but with an optical scope, telescopic scope, and it's great. He does a good job, and videos are fine and everything. But I still say, what is NSSF doing this for? Come on, this could be done on the YouTube channel somewhere. Then we got Four Boxes Diner getting mad at Schumer for trying to block the suppressors. I mean, are we stupid? Did we think that they weren't going to try to block the suppressors? So why wasn't that why isn't their reaction part of our strategy? Should be anticipated and understood that they're going to have a fit about it. Instead of being upset or trying to figure out something at the last minute, why didn't we incorporate that into our initial push? Then you get to Walk Talk America. They went live a couple of times this week, I guess, and this is them going live with Pincus, talking about Pincus going to some event, an anti-gun event that he got invited to based on an article that he was a part of from somebody in New York, I think. So it's a pretty good hour and a half, pretty decent, what's the word? Like they touched on quite a few topics that are relevant in 2025. Not very many people are doing that I'm aware of, if at all. So they didn't intentionally do it, but just because they're all competent and they're all in the game, their conversation is fairly advanced and covered, I think, like 6 to 8 topics that we got going on right now. So that was more than worth checking out for sure. There's 2 versions of it. This version that I'm linked to, that's linked in the Substack is the one with subtitles, so they must have put it through some kind of robot to like polish it up or something, because it added subtitles. I was minding my business, just looking around on the eBay, and I found a new AK book that was written in 2020. That it was an ebook, I think, for the longest time. And I don't know, I guess in 2020 maybe the guy published it, or at some point he published it, and I missed it. So I grabbed that and went and looked, and I seen this guy's video. So the guy who wrote the book has a video, or as a YouTube channel, I guess. I actually didn't watch much of that video, but he's talking about zeroing an AK in it. I don't know if I need some kid in 2020 to tell me how to zero an AK, but I'm glad that there's people out there telling each other how to do it. Let's see, then we get, I guess that's probably the other of the Walk Talk Americas. Like I said, they did one live, and then they almost immediately posted it back up with a polished version with subtitles and stuff, so I don't know what their deal is. Let's see. Woods is saying there's way more in the bill than suppressors. Woods is saying I want suppressors to be easy to get, and I don't like adding $3 million to the debt. Both can be true. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing else to say about that. But at the same time, are they going to not do it at all? Nah, they're going to do something. So we might as well have them add our shit to the thing that they're going to do. They're not going to pull it down now and go, hey, let's bicker about how much money we spent. That's what elections are for, I think. Let's see. I'm not a politician, but I'm guessing that $3 trillion is not the same number that it would have been with Kamala president. I'm just thinking. Let's see. So then we get Ironclad talking. Well, this is one of Katarina's updates, and this is a pretty good one where she talks about taking out the kingpins being a dumb strategy for trying to remove the cartels. However, I can't agree with her on everything. I like her insight, and she's interesting because she brings a lot of good perspective that I haven't heard before to the conversation of the cartels. But I don't know everything about the cartels or anything, but I know that most of them have a single head or maybe a little committee or something at the head of them. And then they got a number of generals and maybe some lieutenants, and then they've got other people out there. And then, of course, tons of other people beyond that. But I think with intelligence and some loitering munitions and a couple of special operations situations, we could take out just about every living person that could have anything to do with the cartel in maybe a week, and see what would happen if they are able to get their heads back after that being cut off. But I agree that cutting the head off of them isn't working, that when you cut the one bad guy leader off from a group, that usually the most violent of his generals is going to take over. It's certainly not going to be like the most timid and lenient of the generals that's going to jump in and take over, right? Krabby Turtle says, Gunfax had an interesting article, New Method Grading States CCW. Oh, really? I need to, it would be interesting to have conversations about the Gunfax website again. We used to, like I mentioned a couple of times back in the day on this show, or when this was a daily show, we would do it on Tuesdays. We would have the Gunfax segment of the show, and that was years ago. So that it has to have grown. He's been growing that website steadily since then. So yeah, it would be great to go in and take a look at those on a regular basis. But thanks for sending that. I'll leave it on the screen for a bit since nobody else is really chatting. Thanks to Woods and Krabby for that. Let's see. So that Kingpin strategy, it might be worth listening to if you haven't seen Katarina's videos before. She's a good reporter. Let's see. Then we get this one. Is there any hope for gun owners? But this is actually in Canada. So I don't know. But, Canada's right there next to us, and they definitely are just getting wailed on with the gun stuff all the time. And this sounds kind of optimistic, but it's like Canadian optimistic. It's like, maybe we won't get abused. Not like what we would be saying, like, let's get them. Let's see. I'll have more time to jump in after Tuesday, summer break. Oh, is that when yours starts? I think they're already talking about starting school at the end of July here. So I don't know when the kids get out of school here. I think it's almost over. Is he the best Canadian? I don't know if he's the best Canadian. He's the coolest Canadian. Let's see. Then we have radical anti-gun AGs sue Texans. Actually, that's also the one about the FRT triggers, I think. So is that 2 videos, or am I watching the same video twice? I didn't watch this ICE riots one. I think I meant to, and I fell asleep or something. So I'm not sure that those are still happening. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But certainly nothing in the scale of what we've seen in the past with true civil discontent. I'm not going to say they're manufactured, but I'm not going to say they're, what's the word? Grassroots either. Because I don't know. Let's see. So then we got Wednesday. Gizzard has his members only chat. Foss posted a video. I guess that's only 2 things I did. I watched on Wednesday. That's what happens. Katerina has this one. This was a special report from Tuesday. Another for 20-minute segments. And she had mentioned earlier in other conversations that the CJNG, one of the newer cartels, that has makes about half or a good chunk of their money on stealing oil from the pipelines in Mexico, which when you have a busted infrastructure, there's all kinds of things that can be taken advantage of by criminals. So they just literally tap into pipelines, steal a bunch of oil, which is oil, right? There's no serial numbers on it. They just take it up to the United States. They find somebody who's unscrupulous to buy it and sell it. And you think they're tapping off the pipeline when they drive away, like massive damage and massive environmental recourse from that. Again, this is happening in Mexico, but I'm sure that's just where we're hearing about it. Who knows where all else kind of things like that are happening. There's another version of Jim. That's probably when he posted that thing. I think it was Tuesday night when he posted that. Let's see. Woods is saying, I think Washington, the state, is already working to ban the FRT. That's lame. Let's see. Now we do videos over on the other channel. So if you want to go check out the Gear Websites channel, see all the videos. I guess I was looking at this ham radio video for some reason. Usually I delete those. But I guess I didn't delete that one. Then on Tuesday, the Gun and Gear Review podcast happens. It was just Tony and them this time. More people showed up, but I guess the thumbnail happened when it was just him and Tony. Then we've got Maj talking about the protests. I guess there's a bunch of people who think that they were peaceful, and then the National Guard showed up, and then everybody decided to start getting violent. Like they were minding their business, just having tea, thinking about how to sing songs or something, and then when the National Guard showed up, everybody went, "Oh, we have no choice but to become violent now." Like somehow that's a narrative. Then we've got the submarines coming from Sinaloa. So if you take a look on the map where they're all at, there's places where the cocaine can travel up the Pacific Ocean into Mexico so that it can then be staged to be traveled into the United States or through the United States into other countries. We're not the final destination for all the cocaine. We're just the place where it can get into the cheapest international flights or something probably. And it'll step up the price to make it worth it. So you can't just take, I guess they don't just take cocaine for some reason straight from the farms. They have to move it around, and it steps up in price every time it moves around. So I'm guessing that has something to do with its ability to move around the planet or not. But they've been building bigger and bigger submarines, and it makes sense. If they've got enough money and they're trying to get away around the police blockades and stuff, they're just going to see where the blockades stop and figure out a way to go where the blockades aren't. It's where the submarine started, but I guess they're getting bigger and bigger now. Modern tactical shooting. So this is an ex-Green Beret that's posting stuff, kind of interesting, and a lot of people don't think about tactics and strategy, which can apply to chess, and can apply to business, and it can apply to fighting, but it can apply to anything. That's sort of the point, is that tactics and strategy are just ways to live life. So this is a pretty interesting video to think about if you want to watch it. Jim does a chat on Sunday nights every once in a while. I think he's going to start doing those more often. So if you're a content creator looking to make some money with your content creation, then that's a channel worth checking out. It's called Side Hustle Shuffle. Let's see, then we have the Virginia Citizens Defense League. They do their annual or their monthly meetings online. They do them virtual, so pretty cool. We had Technical Response. They post videos on the regular. They go live occasionally. And Kayla posted this one, which I thought was pretty awesome. So I made a clip from it. I'm going to go ahead and grab the clip and play it. I don't think they'll care. So if you go to YouTube and you click on your little pancake menu or whatever it's called, and you come down a little bit, you'll get to clips. Looks like scissors. And then here's the clip.
Mindset, tactics, skill, gear in that order. And you have to be in the correct mindset to prevail at violent encounters. And pretending that somebody being right over there, if I'm shooting right there, pretending that's dangerous does not get me to the goal of training if I'm ever in a gunfight.
Somewhere along the way, we occasionally lose our understanding of why we fight, and maybe when enough people come in, either new instructors, new students, or both, and there's no rules, right? Like there's no, like, the NRA doesn't say this is how you will train. It's not like any other entity says this is the right way to do it. So because there's no rules and everybody likes to do their own thing, and because of exploitation, because people who don't give a shit and will do whatever they can to make a buck, and because of marketing, people who don't understand and will do anything they can to make a buck, and then because of just crazy things that go up people's butts or whatever, that give them an idea. Was it a hair up your butt that gives you an idea to just come up with something off the wall? So there's all these things that instructors are coming up with. Some of them make sense and some of them don't. The things that typically, quote unquote, make sense are the 180-degree rule, that no one can be within 180 degrees of where your muzzle is. And that does make sense if you're a child or you're teaching children, or maybe somebody who's scared of guns or has had some kind of issue that makes them not capable with a firearm at a standard level. But for everybody else, there's the idea that adults can be around dangerous things and don't have to nerf everything, in that there's a danger of nerfing. So anyway, without getting all into it, you can go check out the Miami shootout from the back in the day. And one of the things that came from that Miami situation, where the FBI, I think, was shooting the bad guys and vice versa, they figured out a lot of training scars happened in the training, the strategy, and the tactics of the FBI back in the day. And since then, people with a more martial mindset have removed some of the nerf safety soft edges that had developed in training based on a bunch of people who hadn't gone to war in a long time or been in any kind of fight. So a lot of people can't handle or never could handle tactical response. I don't really know what people are thinking about it nowadays, now that James isn't there. the polarizing, issues they had with him are gone. So they're probably not paying attention. But for those that are having a fit out there, hopefully tactical response is still there to be a voice of reason. I don't know what this is. It's some kind of 1-minute trailer for Narcosis. So I must have showed up whenever I was watching something else. It's in my feed, so I left it there. Then you got Blue to Green, channel I've been watching now for this year. Just went live on Sunday night, I think this was, to watch the news with all the stuff that was happening in LA. And it's not all that interesting. He was his first live, so it's a lot of just sitting there, and he was scared that he was going to get copyrighted, so he was afraid to look at anything live. But again, if we take everybody for granted, we assume everybody just is going to know how to use the internet or know how to use YouTube. That's asking a lot. So cool to see people out there from different angles and different approaches adding to the mix. So now we have Crump's version of Nagger suing Texans and Texas, and that would be like the opposing view from radical anti-gun AGs sue Texans. So some people can dig the organizations that make more money than most of the other organizations piled together when they want to, and when they don't want to make money, they just disappear for years at a time. Other people don't give a shit, and they'll stand behind any company and any organization that puts a meme up on the internet. But NRA is the only bad one, right? NRA was the one that we're told is the bad one, so that's the one we're supposed to not like or whatever. Maybe shut up. So then we got Maj talking about Massey from, I don't know, years ago, saying that I forgot what he said, something like him and Trump and Elon Musk aren't going to like each other. Problem is, if I'm trying to do this on Friday, trying to think about what happened or what I watched on Sunday, it's not so easy, especially I've been doing stuff all week. There was riots over in LA before. One of them was in 1992. That was the biggest one since I've been around. I don't know if it was the biggest one or the most significant one, but it was pretty big, pretty significant. I don't remember when this was. Does it say? Oh, 2019. So in 2019, I drove around LA trying to see as many of the places as I could that were made infamous from the riot. So that's hour-something video describing the situation. Thanks to Alan Aker for helping out with that, by the way. Let's see. Then we got the Supreme Court taking on the case with Mexico versus Smith & Wesson and a bunch of other people. And that was, I don't know if anybody even paid attention to it. We're seeing the, oh crap, I clicked on that. We're seeing the what is it, the Hearing Protection Act and the Short Act both be kind of juggled in front of us. So we've also had the two cases not taken by the Supreme Court. And I don't think there's an intentional attempt to shake one thing in front of us so we're not looking at the other thing. But what happens when everyone gets paid to focus on the thing that's being shook, most of our attention is on the thing that's being shook. It's, I don't know if you want to say it's not intentional, because it kind of is intentional. It's not coordinated, but it's allowed to happen by people who aren't willing to stop reacting, right? They're not willing to stop and think and say, do we need to have 1,200 videos go up every time something happens in reaction to the thing that happens? What would happen if we had 6,000 videos go up before fucking shit happens? Oh, somebody was yelling at me for swearing. I swear. Let's see. So another one with Mexico. Then we have a combat story. We've been having combat stories on the more frequent, which is nice. There's a couple of different military interview shows I listen to. This is one I enjoy. So this was with a Marine commander. Let's see. Then we have another one. Oh, that's that same one from Hinsdale College. Let's see. That, I think, is Foss doing a short, and then Foss doing another short. Alan Anker doing a short with the puppies, and Travis reviewing coffee at an airport. What? Was it saying The Art of War and the Book of Five Rings? Yep, two very good books. The sky is not falling? Well, the sky is up there. If you rush towards the sky, it'll seem like it's falling. Let's see, so Edgar from Guns for Everyone, I think he only did one walk, but he chopped up a bunch of videos as he was walking, and he's been posting those. So I'm going to recommend that to anybody. Walking is a good idea. Gets you out, and it lets you see your community. Walking out your front door and heading in a direction, whatever it might be. Get out to the end of your driveway, or depending on where you might be, get out to the end of your porch. Take a left or a right and start walking. If you got a critter or a family or whatever, do it with everybody. So now everyone sees in slow time what's going on in your area. It's good for you because it's healthy, but it's good for you to kind of see what's going on in your neighborhood. And if you do it on a regular basis, what happens is you slowly experience all these things that are nearby. And over time, you get to slowly experience the changes in those things. Makes you a better, more aware person in your community. And it's real tough for people to sneak in and change things when there's people walking around paying attention. But he's also filming, and he's talking about activism and Second Amendment issues. So if you're able to, if you're bored and there's not that much stuff going on where you're at, then you're interested, turn on that camera and make some comments and post a video like Edgar did. And that's how the internet works. Agrizer's out there. At some point, I'll actually send Agrizer the stuff I'm going to send you, but I will send you that stuff eventually. Thanks for joining us. Then we have another one from Four Boxes Diner. Breaking Major Trump in gun positions. So, that's Citibank. And did Trump change Citibank? I don't know. Then we have Rapid Fire Radio. So Cape Gunworks does Rapid Fire Radio 3 times a week. They do it on Sundays where Toby goes into the radio station. That's the only one I got to listen to this week. And then on Tuesdays, he goes on to Grace Curley's show for the 2A Tuesday. That's a smaller and smaller segment, unfortunately. And then we've got Wednesday show, which is the 2-hour show, an hour, and then an hour an hour with talking about news, and then an hour with a guest, usually an interview. So anyway, Toby does great effort on keeping the awareness of what's going on in the community out there. And it looks like he's having some kind of fit when it goes in this loop here. But anyway, when he goes to the radio station, he goes live like that, just pointing the camera right at him. Thanks for your patience. All right, so then Viejo was posting about powder measures. How do I get the hiccups? I just got done drinking. I think talking just for a half an hour or whatever gives you the hiccups. It's a million times nicer having a co-host because you can shut up every once in a while and just breathe. When you just got to talk, you end up talking and then, get heartburn, you start getting hiccups, you got to fart, like your leg gets a cramp, so you start speeding up. And you forget what you're doing. You have to think about it, and then you get more heartburn. It's horrible. It's horrible doing a podcast. Let's see. So then we got Team House talking about with this MARSOC Raider attached to the NSA. I didn't listen to this one. I'll have to go back and listen to it. I really enjoy a lot of these, but Team House is a good one. I've been listening to so many of them. I like the questions that they ask, but I enjoy their I guess it's the questions that they'll ask. As the guest is talking, the kind of questions they ask are usually pretty interesting. Let's see. And can this guy say anything bad about Trump? Like, he would fall over if he tried to say something bad about Trump. Like, this guy definitely likes Trump. Then we get the Mental Health Matters on Saturdays. Brooke Cheney from Great Start Shooting School is really the only individual out there who's putting consistent effort towards changing the paradigm on the whole situation, really, because, as we all know, gun deaths are 2/3 suicide. So of all the gun deaths that happen, and we say gun deaths, not murders or anything else, because when we're talking about, the result of violence or whatever you want to say, an action of a gun that will end in death, 2/3 of those are suicide. And the other side uses 100% of those against us. So if you think it's bullshit that they want to take your guns away because somebody commits suicide, I agree with you. That's bullshit. So do we just yell about it? Do we hold our breath and get mad? Do we say our property a bunch of times? Or do we fucking make it get through to them at some point that they don't get to play both ends of that bullshit anymore? So we have a couple of organizations that are out there working towards changing that. But the one person who's out there every Saturday putting an effort into it is Brooke. And she's not trying to get rich or famous. She has changed the name of it from Suicide Prevention Saturday to Mental Health Matters because YouTube can't differentiate between a negative and a positive use of the word suicide. And that's just an indicator of the struggle and the frustration here. So if you're truly a Second Amendment advocate, I question your actual intent and ability if you're not paying attention to mental health, the ability to bring mental health into a conversation. Red flag laws. If you listen to Pincus's interview, he can't wait to get red flag laws on the table because he's convinced that if gun owners bring red flag laws to the table before anti-gunners, that they will have good red flag laws. Not that he's a big fan of red flag laws, but he does believe that if we bring them to the table, that they'll be better than if they come up with them. Whether or not that's true, that's the world we live in because a bunch of people outsource their advocacy to somebody else. And rarely do they do very good at figuring out who to outsource that to. And what are we going to do? Until something changes, we'll keep running down these same old paths in circles. But what's going to change that? Change in the awareness, change in the understanding, and change in our ability to communicate with each other and with the other side. And Brooke does that a little bit, chipping away every Saturday. So if you have the ability to tune in, I'd highly recommend it. You're supporting an excellent project. If you're not able to or not even interested, like you could give a shit, but you still want to act like you give a shit, then link to it. That's all you got to do. Link to it on your channel. The more channels that link to it, a whole bunch of little switches go off in the YouTube system. And when enough switches go off, it says, might be worth recommending this to other people. You don't even have to watch the damn show. All you got to do is link to it, and you're helping her to spread to more people who might like it, who might enjoy it, and who might understand that if we can have a better conversation about mental health and suicide prevention, that we can get those sons of bitches off our back already about our property and our rights. Because all they care about is their position and looking good, and we can appease them. We should be able to talk them down. If we can't, then we're pretty fucking horrible. And I don't think we are. We're just not, we don't have anybody opening up our eyes to that this could all be over. All we have to do is stop these people from attacking us. So thanks to Brooke. So it gives me an opportunity to mope about that each week. Then we got Viejo talking about using a balance to reload. And then Tony and I do Ask Gun Questions on Saturdays. That was 4 hours last week. I don't think it'll be 4 hours this week, but you'll never know. But we didn't have any comments this week. I don't even want to threaten anybody anymore because there's no point. Nobody's out there to listen to the threats. So I like an interactive show. The interactive shows are longer, but no one shows up to them. The shows stay short. I do appreciate the two of you guys that showed up this week, because you're only two people that are humans. Everybody else is a robot or fake. Actually, it's 3 of you. I'm sorry. Agorizer, Woods, and Krabby Turtle. Everybody else who acts like they're here is fake, because they didn't say nothing in the comments. So they're all fake and they're not real. But if you're listening in the future as a listener, we go live on Fridays at 7 p.m. and you're welcome to join in and be part of the show. You guys have a good weekend. I had no idea that was going to be so loud. Have a good weekend.
Shit. Ninja! Ninja! Ninja!
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.